Right, hi guys. So this is the back of my Rx10 Mark IV, and a lot of people ask me what settings I generally use while I'm shooting out and about with it. I was shooting raw, and 99% of the time I shoot manual. You've got to remember that you are, if you've got scene setting on, whatever you adjust your settings to, you can see what you're going to get. So you don't necessarily need the light bleeder or anything like that. You just got to keep an eye on your shutter speeds and obviously your aperture and your ISO. So it's not really a biggie. So it's quite easy to shoot in manual. So you obviously have the function button. So in my function setup, I've got face detection, and obviously over here, so you've got face eye priority. So you can have it on or off. Generally have it off unless I know I'm shooting with people or animals. At the moment it's on. And then I've got the subject detection. I had it on animals the other day, so obviously human. Auto object tracking or framing is off at the moment. But focus areas, this is one of the obviously things that I use quite a bit. So you've obviously got wide, center, flexible spot. And I have that on small, so you can have it on medium or large, but I have it on small. So for little things like that, so you can actually see it there. It's sort of just about focusing. But you can move it around, for example, there. But that little spot is actually really, really good, especially at 600mm, to shoot between branches and things like that. So obviously you go back into a function, it's already on your thing, go back to wide. So depending on what you're actually doing, it really helps you adjust things quickly. So obviously you can do that while you're up in with the viewfinder up against your face. You can adjust things that fast. Obviously ISO, right hand side, say that, let's reset that. ISO adjustments, obviously as you need, but generally I do try and keep it down at 100 or thereabouts to keep it as noise free as possible. Like I say, manual is obviously most of the time. My C1 button at the top is when I'm in manual focus. I've got the on-off toggle at the top there, the second one above the FN button, and then C1 I have as zoom. So if I'm doing manual focus, I can do some peaking, and obviously zoom in on my subject. So that's quite helpful. My C2 button is actually programmed for animal and human detection. And then if we go to HFR, which is the other option we generally use, it's basically set up as the function again. Let's go down. I've got the frame rate setting, so 500 or 1000 or 250. Generally 250 to 1000 is what the common thing is. And if I go into the actual, come out of there, go out into the actual menu and go into page 2 or custom 2 and go and find page 1, you've got your HFR settings. So generally I have it at 50p, either 250, you can adjust obviously that, but I can adjust that via the function menu. Priority is quality, so I leave it as quality. And end trigger half normally, unless I know I'm going to do something a little bit longer, and I use end trigger. Start trigger I very rarely use. Start trigger basically allows you to set the shot and you just push go and it will record. If you have it on end trigger, so let's do something now for example. So I have it on end trigger half, that's fine, come out of there. So we're focused at the moment on my strap at the other end of the camera there, so we just push the middle button and now that's looping. So if I throw a coin in, so if you were to basically push record on the start mode and just throw a coin in the way, you've already missed it. So at the moment the buffer is looping, so everything is recording already. So if you throw a coin in the shot, you then push memory and now it's recorded. And then you see the coin come in front. So it's that simple. That's how I generally shoot with HFR. I have HFR in manual, so you've got full aperture control, you've got full shutter speed control, you've got ISO control. So obviously you can speed it right up. So if you're doing things with fire, you can basically have a faster shutter speed ready to, so it's not overexposed. So if you've got something that's going to explode or something, it means you can actually get the exposure about right rather than just being explosive, overexposed explosion that basically just looks like a load of white rather than actually getting it correct. But that's basically how I've got the camera set up. Using the you've got the zoom lever up here. Obviously you've got the ring, 2 rings for your focus and your zoom as well, and the aperture ring. Other than that, it's generally left in manual or in HFR mode. It's that simple really. I just find that's the best way of using it. Like I say, I very rarely use in auto or anything like that, or JPEGs. It's always shot in RAW generally. Auto white balance generally as well, don't really touch that. And AFC, so autofocus continuous, is most of the time as well, because it tracks so well anyway, especially in wide. It will just lock on. Also you've got the silence mode as well, so at the moment I've got it in silent because I was shooting some robins yesterday. And I don't have it on all, so I don't necessarily want to hear the beep every 2 seconds when it's focusing, so I just leave it in shutter only. And then generally have it in burst mode of some sort, so either high or medium, generally just to make sure you don't miss anything. So a couple of shots here or there, a couple of short bursts, it means you get a couple of shots rather than just one, especially if it's something moving you're not going to miss. So that's my basic setup, guys. So you've got a quick drive mode on the left there, and then display up the top, so you can shut your display to different things, go to the back screen, stuff like that. Movie menu, very rarely actually put it to movie via the dial, but yeah, no, it's very simple to use, and just works. And like I say, mine's been used and abused for the last 2 years. So I did think a couple of times it might break, but it never did. And it's basically got back to, it got so much sand in it one day that I was a little bit worried, because I basically extended it to 600mm, took the battery out and let it dry with sand all over it, and then brushed it off, vacuumed it and then wet wiped it with alcohol. There's still a bit of sand inside the zoom ring and the focusing ring, but not anything to worry about, and it's not been a problem since. Like I say, it has, from previous video I mentioned it's a bit scuffed up, but yeah, it still works absolutely fine. It's not given up the ghost yet, so just shows they are well made, and can take a bit of abuse. Mine has actually been dropped and bounced sort of 10-15 feet across a load of concrete, like concrete rubble. It's absolutely fine. When I fell over, I tripped over some was it rebar in the ground I couldn't see in the grass, and tripped over, and the camera just went flying. But yeah, that survived, and it's not died since. Not died since, not died yet. So yeah, so here we go. So anyway, some more photos to have a look at now. See what you think. And I'm just working my way through different categories of photography which I've shot with the Rx10 Mark IV. Pretty much everything really, but I just wanted to show you some examples of how well it can actually do. Sometimes it struggles a little bit, sometimes it excels. But every single situation that we go out in, could be doing some portrait shoots, you could be doing some wildlife, you could be doing some sports, some lightning, you could be doing many other things, and every single time the shots are going to be different, the settings are going to be different, the way you actually take them are going to be different, and it's just a learning experience every single time you use the camera. And it doesn't matter if I'm using the A7R4, which I'm recording on now, or the A7R3, or even the Rx10 Mark IV as well. So the cameras that you get to learn to use, doesn't matter if it's Canon, Nikon, Sony, Pentax, Olympus, Hasselblad, Fuji, and anybody else that makes cameras, that it doesn't matter what you use. I don't care what make you use. It's not about the make, it's about what you learn. So the fact is that you learn the menu system, you learn how the functions work on the camera, you learn where the buttons are so you can use the camera in the dark without looking. All that sort of stuff makes a massive difference. It doesn't matter what manufacturer made the camera. It's got nothing to do with that at all. I just went for Sony because I like the way it felt, I like the way it worked, and for me it's given me the most efficient way of taking photos. And I still love them, using them today, and it's just been amazing so far. They started off 12 or so years ago when they took over Konica Minolta, and they were a little bit rough and ready, but they've got better and better and better. And now, you know, I think back 10 or 12 years ago and think, blimey, was it a good move actually going from Nikon film into Konica Minolta digital into Sony digital, where my friends are using a much better Nikon at the time, but I persevered and stayed with them. And obviously you invest in lenses and things like that, and they've kind of got you a little bit, but I've now transferred all my lenses from the Sony A mount, which used to be the Konica Minolta A mount, into the E mount, and never looked back since. So very pleased with how they work, and like you say, the more you use the stuff, the better you're going to become, because you learn how to use the equipment properly and more efficiently, and I think that's the most important thing. And then obviously your creativity side has more chance of working better for you, because some of the things the camera's doing for you, like the eye autofocus, things like that, so you don't have to spend so much time trying to compose, trying to get the shot like right. You can actually do that at the same time as focusing, because the camera's helping you. So technology is good if you use it well. So anyway, here are the photos. Hope you enjoy, and any questions please ask. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, the notification bell as well, and please comment below, tick the like, the little thumbs up thing, the like, that obviously helps me get seen, and yeah, so thank you very much.